Yo, what is the dealio, man? Hey, listen, in this video, you already know what time it is. I'm gonna bring you guys a straight banger, all right? We got a trade of the day coming back, all right? I want to get back into the trades of the day. Now, you see we got a new setup, we moved, we in a new Airbnb right now, all right? So yeah, with that being said, man, today I want to take you through a trade. I hit Google, okay, Google for 12%. Quick little trade, quick little snipe. But I want to show you guys what I saw in the charts and why I took this trade, and also the reason why I got in the trade. All right, it was a reversal candle. Now I see this happen all the time, and so I want to share this with you because it could make you a lot of money essentially. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go to the charts and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we did. All right. So let's go right here. All right. So you see, so we got Google right here on the charts, right? All right. So so this is a 30-minute. Let's go to the 15. All right. So Google opened up, and then it came down here. All right. Now, obviously, so we gapped up right here, and then we opened up right there. So we had a small little gap right here, right? So it could have came down to like 172.76 and then reversed and went to the upside, right? So I wasn't trying to play puts because I didn't know how low it would go. So I said, I'm going to wait until it, establishes support. Now it looked like, at the time, it looked like it was about to reverse off this 200 EMA right here, but it didn't. I'm pulling this up right here, okay? But it didn't. But what I saw was, once this candle started coming down, I saw this fair value gap right here, all right? So we got a fair value gap from here to here, all right? All right, so now I saw that Google came down here and then a lot of buyers ended up stepping in, okay? So right here we got a lot of buying pressure, okay? We got a lot of buying pressure right here. Put this right here for you. Buyers stepped in, all right? And that's what this big wick is, all right? That's what this big wick is right here. So a lot of buyers stepped in right here. All right, and then this candle had a lower low, a higher low, I mean, okay, right here. So when I saw this candle right here, I said, okay, this looks like we could be coming back to the upside. And yes, we have this 200 EMA right here, okay, but I said, all right, we could come back up to this fair value gap right here, and then if we push through higher, then we could go higher. But if not, then we come right here, right? So what I did was I took my entry right here, okay? I took my entry right there, okay? I let this candle open. It came down a little bit, and then I took my entry. So about right there is where I entered in. All right? That was my entry. All right, and then literally I just wrote it up. It came above this 200 EMA right here. It closed above it, came down, tested a little bit, and then I actually ended up getting out right here because it was inside that fair value gap. And then I started to see that it was rejecting a little bit. It wasn't coming through with a lot of momentum and strength. All right, so I took my exit right there. All right, and that was my exit. Boom. All right, simple as that. All right, so that was a quick 12%. So we got the move from what, 172, let's say like 24, to about 172.62. All right, we got a nice 12% and we got up out of there. It's simple as that. All right, now as you can see, it did come down. We got these, looks like tweezers right here, and it might be coming up. But this is the candle right here that let me know that we had some bullish action, because it came down here, buyers pushed it up, tried to come lower, buyers pushed it up again. All right. So once this candle formed and closed, I said, okay, let me take an entry, right? And then my stop loss would have been like right below here. All right, but it didn't even come that low at all. Closed above this candle right here. And then I knew, and then we came up here, right? And it came right down to my fair value gap. So you could play a fair value gap two ways. You could either know that, okay, when it comes down, it's gonna come back up to the fair value gap, or when it comes up to the upside, it's gonna come down to the fair value gap, right? Or you could wait for it to come into the fair value gap to see if it goes up or if it goes down, all right? In this case, it came to the fair value gap, it rejected, and it kept going in the same direction. All right, now these fair value gaps, they work from the upside and to the downside, but this is one of my favorite strategies right here because I see it almost every single day. All right, so that's literally how we hit Google for 12%. Very simple trade. There wasn't a lot going on in the market today because we had a lot of the moves happen overnight. All right, so that's what I want to say too. I want you guys to know and understand that when you have big moves being made overnight, the trading day is probably going to be a little choppy. All right, because the moves that a stock makes, it only has a certain amount of energy, right? I want you to think about you, right? You're only going to have a certain amount of energy throughout the day that you can expend. So you're going to be, if you wake up and you woke up and you're still tired, you're only going to be able to do certain amount of things throughout the day, right? But if you wake up feeling very rested, then you're going to be able to do a lot more, right? Now I look at that as if a stock has a small pre-market range, if it didn't gap up or down crazy, then that stock is rested and it's ready to move and it's ready to work, right? But if the stock made some big moves to the upside or the downside overnight, then that stock is tired and it's not going to be able to operate in its optimal, sense. So every day, that's what I'm looking at. When I see stocks and they haven't really made a move overnight, then I know that we probably going to have some big moves from that stock throughout the day. So because the whole market gapped up and it gapped down, then I knew that, okay, we're probably going to have a little bit of choppiness, right? Or we may just like have some gap fills, or we may have some fake outs. It's going to be a lot of confusion in the market today simply because we had such big moves. And then we got the stuff with Trump, right? We got stuff with Trump. We got the stuff with, the tariffs, the court saying that they're not going to do that. And then he just came back saying he's going to try to basically get that reversed as well, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on. So the market is kind of like going like this a little bit of confusion. So because of that, when I see them big moves in the pre-market and in the after hours, I'm like, okay, I gotta be a little bit cautious today because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. All right, so that's just something to keep in mind. When you see a small, no real moves have been made in the pre-market, then you know a big move is coming. All right, so that's how we hit Google for 12%. Like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head. Go get into this world because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right, and also remember, the more you study, the less you worry. All right, I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. Peace.